Welcome to Farol, a light for the journey. Hi everyone.
Hi,
Welcome back to another episode of Farol Podcast. I'm Emanuela.
and my name is Tiwa.
And yeah, we're so excited. We're back with another episode. And we're really excited to share this one with you.
We are, and again, we're not experts, but we're here to share our experiences. And we're really loving your engagement so far. People reaching out to us in our DMs, texting us, telling us how to make things better, sharing their experiences with us. So, thank you all so much for your support. And welcome back.
Yes. Tiwa, do you want to take it away?
So, we were talking about mentors, like mentorship, and then sponsorship. Now, this came about because we watched a TED Talk video by Carla Harris, and she makes a really important distinction of what a sponsor is and who a mentor is and how we all, especially right now for M and I at this point in the career, it's really important for us to, yes, make mentorship work, but also to find sponsors. And so we wanted to talk about it and also share from you all, hear from your experiences. But yeah, Emma, I don't know if you have been in a situation, being at an organization or club, wherever, where you feel like, oh, you've taken all the mentorship advices, you're putting in work, but then you're getting overlooked. Certain promotions or certain responsibilities that you think should be given to you, think that you deserve these next steps, but then they bypass you because, well, you don't know why. I don't know if you've been in that situation before.
I mean, I think personally, I'm not sure if I've been in those situations, but I think it links back to the difference between who a mentor is and who a sponsor is, right? I think like the video that we watched, the TED Talk that we watched talked about how, like a mentor is someone that guides you, gives you advice, they're there to support you in your career and your journey. While a sponsor is someone that's talking about you in those spaces that you're not there, right? They're the ones that are, will I say, advocating for you in, the closed doors in those rooms. So I feel like if you don't have a sponsor, you won't actually know when you're being brushed past for promotions and stuff like that. So
Yeah. So, in simple terms, if I'm hearing correctly, a mentor is someone who talks to you. They're giving you the advices, the 5 steps to tap, tap, tap. And then a sponsor is one who is talking about you,
yeah,
advocating for you, pushing your name in those, rooms behind closed doors. They're taking your paper into the room
Yeah.
and talking about you, which I believe that very tricky, because my next question was going to be, how do you identify? I won't even say how do you choose a sponsor, because then I'm wondering, does one has a right to choose a sponsor? Because when it comes to mentorship, and we'll get there shortly, do we have the right to choose a sponsor, or they have to approach us, or we have to earn it? That was going to be my question, if you have an idea.
that's a good question. I was also thinking about that. Like, do we get to choose our sponsors? I think my first initial reaction is like, I don't think we get to choose our sponsors. And it goes back to like the video talking about how, it's based on your actions or your performance that will encourage someone to be like, oh, I want to stick out for this individual, when we're talking about promotion or for a project. So I think it's something that is based on your ability or your performance within a space, and that kind of encourages people who have the power or who are in those closed doors to act as a sponsor for you.
Yeah. Personally, in my career, I have not had to choose my sponsors. By the grace of God and by God's favor, for some reason, everywhere I have worked so far, I've had mentors turn into sponsors. for my supervisors actually sponsor me because, like what you said, they looked at my performance. However, I'm thinking there are different currencies to this: the relationship currency and, of course, the performance currency. If you're in a high performance pace where everyone is performing really well, everyone is meeting their KPIs, they're meeting their objectives, targets, then it becomes quite competitive, even if it's spoken of or not, even if it's silent. So then I'm wondering how that performance can then really speak for you, how your boss can just pick you out. That's when, as Christians, we say, oh, the favor of God came upon me. That's why. That happens a lot. And as believers, we know that. However, there's also the relationship currency. And I think it's really hard, getting that currency because then it's unlike mentorship where you can go to somebody and say, oh, can you please guide me through this and this and that? You have to build it. Yes, they look at your performance, but then I think we have to be confident and bold enough to maybe speak to your boss and say, hey, Mr. Smith or Miss whoever, this year I'm trying to work really hard and move to the next step in my career, maybe the managerial role. And I'm thinking that maybe during appraisal period or during evaluation, whatever, if you could focus more on, I don't know, this strength or this side of my performance and really have me in mind when you're considering someone for the next steps, or can you please think about this in your next management meeting? I mean, again, like we said, we don't have that sole right to get them to do that. So there is that chance of getting rejected, getting a no, or maybe they're just going to say yes and just ghost you. When they come back and they say, oh, yes, I spoke to management. You were not there. You would never know what they really said about it. But I think that we have to really strategize right now as we grow in our careers to actually master the art of knowing how to negotiate some of these things. And we really want to hear from you. If there's anyone watching, listening, and they've really advanced in their career and had to, deal with sponsors, how to talk to them. We're not talking about all these sabotaging skills that people actually do, trying to use nepotism, and we're talking about really genuine, clean, trying to find a sponsor. How did you get there? Because it happens. There are people who would, use certain things, step on toes just to get there. It works for them, but it may never work for some of us. So we want to know.
Yeah, I guess I'm finding it hard to, the difference between like someone advocating for you and someone being a sponsor. Because the way I'm understanding like a sponsor, like you might not know if they're your sponsor, or for me, it's something that is like, oh, they just know, oh, I'm going to talk about Tiwa in this space. Not that you have to, encourage them and imply like, oh, Mr. Smith, can you talk about how I'm timely, how I'm organized? Because I feel like then I don't know, to me, a sponsor is someone that's spontaneous. It's someone that automatically, when they hear, oh, we need someone to run this, they know Tiwa's a good candidate. So, I don't know, I'm still trying to wrap my head around
you make a lot of sense, and I think that's true. But especially in African context, back home, where there are people who have, been in a certain position, like in their career or in their industry for, let's say, 5, 6, 7 years. Some people are like due for the next step, they're due for a certain promotion. It never happens. Not because maybe people are overlooking them. Some people also really have some laid back bosses or supervisors, So I feel like you need to study your terrain and see. If it's taking too long, sometimes you don't just sit and wait. You need to find a way to, and you've got to be smart about it. Like you said, maybe the example I used was not there, but of course you can't go and coerce somebody to say, can you pay attention, to my organizing skills? Yeah, but you know your boss, you know who you want to deal with. If it's
also like your boss technically should be your advocate, your sponsor.
It doesn't always happen.
I mean, but ideally, that should be the case. So
Yeah.
to me, a sponsor is someone that is outside that realm of, like, there's a boss. Ideally, besides you fulfilling your tasks and
Yeah.
roles or whatever, there's another element of, like, they want to see you grow within the company or organization. So it's kind of, I don't know. This is ideal. It's kind of in there.
That is how it's supposed to
Yes.
be when they give you a boss,
Yes.
a supervisor.
So for me, a sponsor is someone that is outside of that jurisdiction of, they've noticed your, as you said, performance currency. They've noticed you have a somewhat of a relationship with them, but there's no need for them to vouch for you. But because of what they've seen, it's just an automatic thing of, like, I want to vouch for this person.
Yeah, and I really wish it was like that, like really
Yes.
easy. But and when I talk about the relational currency, I feel like that's where the work is. For performance currency, like you said, they see it, so, like, it's automatically like, okay, vouch for this person. But the relational one is where the work actually is. Because to call someone even your boss, or let's say your boss's boss, may not necessarily mean you have that relationship that can actually value that sponsorship or advocacy in that room. And sometimes when I think about the relationship side of it, it's not always like you going to them and trying to, cause them. I mean, it's all about strategy. And that's where maybe the skills of how we can find mentors also come in. Sometimes it's all about, volunteering. Like, let's create that visibility. Try to get closer to these decision makers sometimes. Volunteering, if there's, let's say, a party or an event at work, try to be seen. You can give opinions respectfully if you're allowed to. You can, offer to help in one way or the other. You can, even if some people would go play golf with their bosses, they are not always allowed to, but some people would see that, oh, this man plays golf every Saturday, or he goes for a run on this park near my house. I'm going to also start running around there. One day, you never know, you meet your boss, hey man, oh yes, I also run. Before you know, you guys are like running buddies. You can talk about maybe a book you're reading, you can start sharing. Before you know, this person is now getting to know you. Yeah. They may not be a mentor, but it starts somewhere. Like, you have to create certain strategies, not trying to be, like a snake.
Yeah.
But you need to do something.
Yeah.
Because sometimes it's not like they are overlooking us, but they are also really busy in their world and also really putting themselves there. So sometimes they are also being a bit selfish in a good way for themselves, that they may forget the people in their team. So you have to do something rather than just sitting and hoping, which is good praying that you get there. You need to also put in action.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it reminds me of, like, during my internship, like, I have my manager and I have people that I work with normally, but there was another project that needed support. So I got moved onto that project. I did the work that I did, obviously developed that, let's say, relationship based on, you're working with that person on this project, fulfilled my tasks, had that performance aspect. But one thing that to me reminds me of, like, a sponsorship was that out of nowhere, the person I was working with sent an email to my manager saying, oh, it was so great to work with her. She did a quick turnaround, this, and stuff like that. So to me, it's like, that one, to me, is sort of like a sponsorship, because
Right, it is.
there was no promotion, like opening for promotion.
There is a promotion. When we talk about promotion, it's not like linear or like that.
Yeah, but it
What's the
wasn't.
next step?
There was no need for that. But
Right.
she felt the need to just put my name out there and send that to my manager to be like, hey,
Recommendation.
like stuff like that. And to me, that's like, oh, that came out of. That's why to me, I see it more of like something that's very spontaneous. So it's kind of opposite to what you're saying, where you need to be
But
strategic.
I also don't see like this instance that you just shared as spontaneous as you think. you didn't have that in mind. You were working, like,
Yes, yeah, from my perspective.
but then they were watching.
Yes, they were watching.
Yes.
True. But I guess based on what you were saying, like, you have to put yourself out there, you have to make yourself visible.
Yeah,
Right.
so
With
that falls in the performance, the relational currency, how to actually get there. Yours right now was on the performance side of it. You're actually working. You thought, oh, I'm just here to intern, but I'll just give my best because, or as a Christian, they said, whatever you do, your hands find to do diligently. So you were like going about your business. But then the people are always watching, right? So you will see it as being spontaneous. But then something comes up, and then you are like the first name in this person's mind because that visibility you created through your performance.
Yes, so but nothing. But in this case, nothing came up, right?
Yeah.
There was no need. I think, in my opinion, there was no need for her to send my manager an email. Like, if that makes sense.
I get you so much, but like for people who have worked in organizations for like years and then they're never seen, like even if it's something that you experience that you think, oh, it was just that, it will be like heaven for somebody like that, And it's making me think about when I also went back from Morocco to Ghana to do my national. In Ghana, we have something called the National Service. It's like an internship as well. I was there. I was feeling a bit too shy for people to know that, oh, I speak French, because it was a French firm, multinational. And so, yes, people would know I'll speak with certain partners a bit, but I didn't want it to be out there so that people would say, this girl. And then one time, there was an issue with the Burkina Faso counterparts, language barrier, my boss. So they were like, oh, that new girl, she says she speaks French, call her in. And then I went and I was able to, it wasn't anything, I didn't do anything technical.
Yeah.
Literally, all I did was translate. But then right then they were like, oh, okay, translate team, because in Ghana, like all these Francophone countries, most of them use the term Ghana ports, So they were like, okay, this girl, they didn't say that to me, but I believe that at that point, they noticed that I would be useful for the team.
Yeah.
Now, that bought me something. However, to be able to prove your relevance, because then it's not just about speaking French, it's work. Then that opportunity came to me. Then I stood on that to actually then perform and give my best shot. And thankfully, and I think by the grace of God, that performance and everything, I think maybe with that French being a leverage, I was able to get a lot of promotions working in that company without even having a mentor. So my next question was going to be, what would you choose between a mentor and a sponsor?
That's a good question. I don't know. I don't know. I think right now the point that I'm at in life is a sponsor.
Amen. Amen. And by sponsor, if you're in the US right now, I mean a lot of things right now.
Because I feel like with mentors, I think I've struggled having a consistent mentor. Because, mentors, at a point in your life, they might be there for you. And then maybe something happens in their life that derails them.
Yeah.
It also then derails your mentorship experience with them. So right now, it's like, we want results.
We want results.
So I want to sponsor.
So potential sponsors out there, please hire us, sponsor us. But yeah, all jokes aside, it's also, I think, I was going to say I want both. And I think before we started recording, I said that, but listening to you right now, I think it depends on your stage, like the stage in life that a person is at, right? Growing up when like high school, uni, first degree, mentors are really important. I mean, they still are.
Yeah.
I've met certain CEOs who told me they have mentors, and I'm like, what do you guys talk about? I feel like you've gotten to the peak. However, right now, when you need certain things, like you are really reaching, like I think sponsors are so important. But I wish we could have them both so that as the mentors talk to you, they advise you, then the sponsor would talk about you. But it's so hard, first of all, even maintaining a mentorship relationship. first of all, how to find one. And these days, I don't know, but me, when I came to the US, I think it can be a bit too superficial. Mentorships that I've had here can be a bit superficial, especially when they match you to someone and it's like, I feel like it's not organic because you didn't actually go meet this person for yourself because maybe your school matched this person to you. So you're now going to build something and then you guys are having scheduling
Issues.
problems and they also are
Emails
busy.
back and forth.
So
Can you meet on Tuesday? No, I can't meet on Tuesday. Can you meet?
it's something. It's almost superficial, especially when you have to go for all these networking things. Hi, my name is this. I mean, oh my God. Sometimes I'm like, I come, my social battery is dying. I want to go home, but then you have to do it because you need it. So it's hard. How are you guys maintaining your mentorship relationship? Like as a mentee, how are you making sure you're a good mentee? And as a mentor, because I've served as a mentor before, and I don't think I was also the best at doing that. So if you're a mentor to, what do you expect from the mentee to actually do to keep the relationship, going? And what are you also doing? Because sometimes the mentees, they want it, they just don't know. So sometimes I feel like the mentor should also find a way to actually
I mean, I
pull
think,
them in.
yeah, I think some mentors are not ready to be mentors. Just because they have the experience.
Why do they accept to be mentors?
Because they like it, but deep down they're not ready. No, because I feel like if you're a mentor, you have more
I
responsibility.
just shot something on me because I've been there when I said yes to somebody.
Yeah,
like, I never showed up.
People are so quick to say yes. I will show you the ropes, everything, but they will not. You reach out to them, they keep quiet, they ghost you. You have to be realistic.
But yeah,
I think
guys,
you'd rather be like, I can give you advice, but don't take on the role of a mentor if you're not ready to do that. You're
Yeah.
just wasting.
'cause I feel like we would need a full episode to even talk about this whole mentorship thing because it's sometimes we make it sound so simple, like mentor. Oh, this person is my mentor, but it's not that simple. It's not always straightforward.
Yeah.
We just put titles on things and then we don't do what they come with.
Mm-hmm.
And at the end of the day, it feels like wasted time or, like you said, you just ghost each other quietly. Bye bye. And then you find another mentor and it goes on and on and on. And
I feel like it came to a sour note.
yeah. I wish I could say something exciting. But yes, we need to, like young people. And I watched this thing from Barack Obama where he was talking about how as young people, when you start work, sometimes you want to do the big things, like go and do the report or bring us data on the number of, companies in oil and gas, like the very big things that even as interns, when someone says, oh, can you just prepare this brief? Can you summarize this report for me? We think this is too small. But then people are watching. And sometimes we feel like, oh, we want to do the big things, but you need to start somewhere.
Yeah.
And as they watch, that buys you that performance currency. And sometimes the performance currency will just buy you automatically a relational one, where you don't have to go do all the hard work that I was blabbing about. Because then as you are, diligent, as you are humble, and then you keep going, people will see you, and sometimes they want to get closer,
Yeah.
And also being confident, like,
Yeah, just to add on the confidence piece, I think that's one thing I'm still learning, but I learned, especially with my internship, is like they always have something called like kudos, where you spotlight the different achievements or things that people have done. And one of my managers told me, like, you need to keep track of each time someone praises you or gives you that kudos, because you never know when you can use that as a reference for the time when you have to advocate for yourself. If they ask you, like, why do you need this promotion? Well, so and so said I was this.
and
so
that's
so said
you're
that I
now
was-
trying to push for someone to be a
Yes.
sponsor.
Yeah.
So confidence is really important. And speaking of confidence, and I don't know if we still have enough time, but it's It's hard. Like, I always thought I was a confident person. I mean, I can't be loud because I don't
I
consider.
think you're a confident person.
I've had to struggle, and in the year 2024, being here in the US, I struggled a lot with imposter syndrome. It was silence. I wouldn't want it to be really visible, but I struggled with it. Like, it was that bad that to me, like, yes, I think I like reading, but I'm not like reader. I had to actually go online to find books that I bought with money. I can't remember the last time I bought a book with money to actually read to, I don't know if it's called resetting, but I struggled with it. And at first I thought, oh, maybe because I'm the only African or Black in my, classroom, and sometimes I don't know much about, let's say, American politics and history. I'm still catching up. I thought it was that. Before you know, even simple things that you really know about, you want to always just keep quiet and be sitting down like this. And then you're questioning why maybe a professor spoke to you a certain way. I started reading meanings even where there was nothing. And I'm like, oh my God, I don't think I'm super confident or I'm very extroverted, but this is not me either. It got to me. It got to me that I had to go through a resetting. And so because of that, I have really tuned my mind to be really attentive that when it creeps in, I can quickly notice it. So when I started this, my job, and that again, only Black, only foreigner, I'm like, I have to try. They are more experienced, of course, like I'm doing policy work, but I always have to talk to myself, like, okay, you are also stronger in other areas. You are learning, you get there, all these small pep talks, because imposter syndrome, they can creep in. You can see someone really loud, you think, hey, this person, I wish I'm like him or her. But you never know what they're dealing with quietly, with, especially imposter syndrome, and it can really steal a lot from you, that people even think that, oh, this person is not that qualified for this. Meanwhile, you are. Like, if they had known you maybe a few months back, they'll know that, so it's really important to build that confidence and always make sure that you're on track.
Yeah. I think that's some wise words from Tiwa.
Queen Solomon.
Queen Solomon.
Is that wise?
Solomina. Solomina. Oh my goodness. Well, thank you so much, everyone, for listening to this episode on mentors versus sponsors. Thank you for bearing with us. I know it was like all over the place, but we just had to speak our mind. And yeah,
we'd love to hear from you too.
yes. See you in the next video.
See you.